Happy Friday, everybody. It's the weekend. Well, it's kind of a weekend. It's a hard time of year for us, those of us pushing to finish English 3U. So the weekend is really nothing to celebrate for you or for I. But after this weekend, we will, there are weekends to come in the summer, which we can enjoy a lot. Lots to do. You'll notice I grew a playoff beard for all of you in honor of your struggles to get to the end of this. So, without further delay, some people are chomping at the bit to get started on their culminating activity, which is strange because I haven't really received any essays yet. But, that point aside, I'm happy to provide this information for you. Take a look at it, and then you can get some feedback from me about the culminating activity. We'll go through that in just 1 second. I should probably show you a few things first of all. Oh yeah, here's my marking folders, just so you have an understanding of what I am dealing with. These are all the numbers of files that I've looked at here. You'll notice that Unit 1 is mostly closed, except for some random submissions that were allowed. Those are done. Unit 2 is mostly done, except for the culminating assignment. Unit 3 as well, culminating assignment. And Unit 4, I'm getting back to people as soon as they submit. So we are mostly on top of that stuff. I did want to say that I skipped ahead of the Unit 2 culminating activity and did not mark it, so that was the director's cut. So most of you have not received any feedback yet, but that was because you don't really need any feedback on that. First of all, the Dropbox is closed, and second of all, there's nothing to be done about that mark at this point, whereas Unit 3 and 4 are both process-oriented, and so the more feedback I give you in advance and the more resubmissions you can make and adjustments you can make to both your short story and your essay, the better. So if you're nervous about your essay, then you should send me a message in advance. Be preemptive in these last few days instead of going through doing a full assignment like some people have done, and then I send them back a message saying, you misunderstood this, you need to do it again, and you've got like 3 hours left to do it. It's very difficult. Okay? So final mark, some people are asking me how am I supposed to know my final mark going into the exam, and well, the culminating activity. There is no exam, just to be clear. The short answer is it's very difficult to because of the weighting scale. D2L does not have the same weighting scale in terms of its capabilities, even though I can enter points in a different way, and I have set up courses like that before. The problem is it doesn't take into account the various categories that the TCDSB does. So I will try to, if you have everything in, give you a good indication by the end of Monday when Unit 4 is due what your mark going into that culminating activity is. That will be 70% of your exam. Oh, sorry, 70% of your mark, and then you should have a pretty good idea. And of course, just so you know, I do reward consistency. Like most people who teach a course, you're going to probably drop the lowest mark, and if it's out of character, then you probably look at the bigger picture of how much effort you put in, how you've communicated, and generally give people who are working hard the benefit of the doubt, because that's what teachers do for the most part. Okay? Culminating activity. So, I have re-edited most of it. Oh yeah, sorry, I wanted to say something about the summary sheet. I'm not sure if anybody has looked at the summary sheet yet. I know some people must have. But if you go back to the news feed, that's my news feed. You don't want to see that. The course news feed. Go down to the bottom. Go all the way back to probably the 4th post that ever took place. And it says, here's a course summary sheet that might be clearer than other posts. Okay? Gives you a good indication of, as you scroll down, how everything is broken down. And not much has changed from this. The discussions are still worth less than the culminating activities, which are worth 3 times as much, and it gives you the marks in each category. One thing that is going to change for the culminating activity, as we discussed it is worth 30% still. There was talk of giving you 5% for discussion feedback. I feel like there will be too many people working too hard to get this stuff done. Um, I already know of a lot of people who are behind, and I also know of some people who have worked ahead and have been very diligent in staying up to date and are frustrated because it is hard for them to get feedback discussion, which is totally fair as well. So rather than frustrate people, I'm just going to say your job is to post your particular project in the discussion area. I will not mark it until it is posted there and submitted to me. However, this 5% will not be based on your contributions to the discussion of two other projects. It will be entirely based on your own multimedia presentation. Okay? I'm sure there might be some questions about that, but for now, we'll go with that. Alright, so let's get back to our course home, and let's look at the content for a second and go to Unit 5. Okay, so if you go to Unit 5 now and you go into it, Unit 5 Culminating Activity, it says A1, do not do. Hey, you don't have to do the debate. That's amazing. You don't have to do the assignment at all. That's amazing. Sweet, we just eliminated half of it. That's perfect. Life is good. Okay, moving on. Multimedia essay. Does it say do not do assignment? Ah, you're gonna have to do this one. It's too bad. Okay, so once you look at your multimedia essay, it will go through everything. I would go straight to content, but you could look at the expectations as well. And in the content, it will say what a multimedia essay is, and then it will say choose either your novel or A Midsummer Night's Dream, not both. Choose one of them and relate them to the following 4 Catholic themes. So you have to choose one novel or play and choose one theme and go with it. Okay, and these are pretty good themes. They're pretty generic, universal type themes: family and friendship, true love, human dignity, transformation. Creating a multimedia essay. Now this is the big one. There are many ways in which you may present your multi-essay. While students often use presentation software such as PowerPoint, you are not limited to this. Not only are you not limited to this, I will not accept a PowerPoint presentation. Just so you know, I will not accept a PowerPoint presentation. You may choose to present your content in any one or combination of the following multimedia forms: web page, blog, video, a slideshow, a podcast, an animation, or any other multimedia form. Below, I have listed some tools that you could use, and there are millions of others. So if you're into blogging, you could choose a TAC form. There are many others you could choose as well. And then some presentation tools that you can look up would be Powtoon. For podcasts, you can look up Audacity. And then for slideshows, there's tons of them like Animoto and Haiku. I don't think it's Desk. I think it's Haiku Deck and Prezi. Okay? Prezi is probably the most familiar. It's been around forever, and people are kind of get used to doing it. Okay? Then it tells you how to put all of these elements together. So let me go back to my page for a second. A culminating activity needs to be done well. It's worth 30%, right? So put some time into it. The reason we're kind of halting the course on Monday and giving you this 3-day period to work on this is because it's supposed to be a culminating activity. It's worth, a full 30%, okay? As I said before, you must post it in the discussion, but it will not be assessed based on your contributions to the discussion, okay? The due date is final because my due dates are final, and I have no control over that, and I cannot extend anything, okay? The most important part of this, okay, is understanding the 21st century competencies, okay? You are self-directing your learning in this way. So for those of you who love the traditional essay and who are good at writing, and those skills will serve you well, and they will continue to serve you well in university as well. However, because this is an online course, you actually need to figure out how to use one or more of these presentation tools, okay? So my tip to you, my son's here. My tip to you is to go and Riel, I'm filming a video. Do you want to come see the people?
No.
No, you just woke up. You're not very happy. Okay.
Let's go get the vet milk.
Tip number one would be to think about the way you're going to do this in terms of content, meaning the message that you're trying to get across, and see how it balances against form, okay? And form is the way the message is presented. So your ideal presentation here brings together content and form, right? So if you are good at visuals, okay, and you have a tool that you use, let's say you've done 5 presentations before on Powtoon, then choose that. You know, if you're really good at prezis and you've done them in the past and you're really great at making clever kinds of visual graphics, that's great. But maybe that's not your medium. Maybe you would prefer to spend more time on the written word, and a blog with a few visuals would do a much better trick. Well, then choose the tool that will get you the best mark, right? You know, you don't make a podcast and fumble through it and mumble and have a really quiet breath and not be able to hold down the podcast. Just don't do a podcast, right? But if you're good at that kind of thing, or you like it and you want to experiment with it, do it. So work towards your strengths, okay? If you don't know any tools, I mean, I just Googled this one article. There's a million of them. It says the top 21 presentation tools for teachers. You know, goes through visuals like Animoto, Bunker, I've never even heard of it, Canva, have no idea, ClearSlide. There's 3 new ones of these on the market every day. Most of them are free because they want to rope you in and they want to build a user base, right? It's almost like a social media tool. Okay, it doesn't really matter to me. Just check with me in advance if you can use it, and I will probably say yes. Okay. And then the last thing I really want to talk about is, and you know, they go through this, is that a lot of people are not using their rubrics, right? Once you've looked at the actual assignment, and again, it goes through the multimedia essay requirements. We just kind of looked at that together. The discussion, again, doesn't matter so much. You submit it to a Dropbox. The rubric, okay, very important to look at in advance, because this really will give you a good sense of like a checklist to weigh your project against. Okay. And as you can see in here, you've got a category which says interplay of media and text. So what we just talked about, form and content coming together. You've got your usual language conventions and how well you're able to articulate. You've got under thinking, originality, and creativity, how well you can put this presentation together. And then of course just like the traditional knowledge and understanding of the actual material. Okay? So that's all I've got to say for now. Good luck, everybody. Please keep the questions coming. Ask preemptive questions. I will be on, you know, as much as I've been on, probably more over the next. Oh, Riel's not happy. I'll be on a lot in the next 3 days to help you out. Okay? Good luck, everybody. Work hard. I know it's been a painful struggle, and I can sympathize, but you can do this. I have faith in you, and you can get good marks to finish off this course. Okay? Take care.